start in the bottom of the page. AyinBase 8. I guess will be from the line that begins with ukmo. This is 8 lines from the bottom. Yeah. He's speaking about oir in 2 different domains. Oir, the way it is, oir that comes into Seder Hishtalshus, oir, it's called oir hakav, which is an oir that is capable to illuminate and to create worlds. Then there is the initial oir, which is not relatable to world, yet it is oir. In the sense that this is a gili minhu atzmus, a gili, because in atzmus itself there is no such thing in itself as we discussed before. And this is a gili from atzmus. And this gilui, just as the gilui in the kav comes through a tzimtzum, this gilui also in a sense comes through a tzimtzum. This is what he is explaining now.
So that's the last part. What is what we explain right now? The element
that
of
the gilui that comes from atzmus itself is also in a sense similar to the tzimtzum. You're going to explain that tzimtzum is not applicable there.
Even though it's completely above creation.
That's right.
So
this is a gilui, what's called gilui of an oil that is merely revealing atzmus. It is not something that can relate to world. So the ukmo, as I said, we underline the ukmo. Ukmo means refers to the Ayin that the oir hakav, it has come to be to the tzimtzum. Because the oil that before the tzimtzum is not a metzius oil, and then tzimtzum becomes a metzius oil that can create worlds. Ukmo yesh leima. So a similar Inyan can be explained beklolus metzius ha'oir min ha'atzmus. At the level, the original level, where in oil, metzius oil, the presence of oil coming from atzmus. As we explained initially, that atzmus has no presence of what's meant oil coming from atzmus. So we explained that although that the metzius of oil is not possible there, because there is not a metzius, and that's a mikomo came hareyo bechinas gilu legabe atzmus. But nevertheless, it is an element of gilui legabe atzmus, relative to atzmus. So therefore, this is like an inyan of oir, and that inyan of oir, how does it come? Just as the oil that comes in the kam comes with tzimtzum, similarly, the oil that comes from atzmus also has a similar element. What is that? Shezehu gilui shebo al yedei harotz. That is, gilui comes through the rotz. The fact that the gilui comes through the rotzim explains, in a certain sense, how there is the whole metzius of oir, because in atzmus there is not such a thing. Sharei be'atzmus, since as ba'atzmus in atzmus, Ein shayach leimer inyan hatzimtzum chas v'sholem. Since that in Atzmus, the whole principle of tzimtzum is not possible. In a shayach leimer. In other words, we cannot apply the same principle that we apply to the tzimtzum or that ultimately results in the kav. There is an oil that can be samtzum. But in Atzmus, the tzimtzum is totally not possible. V'chein hagilui, then parenthetically it says even more than that. V'chein hagilui, and even the gilui that comes from Atzmus, that is a gilui of Atzmus, ein echas v'sholem b'chinas mitzius dover. That gilui is not b'chinas, does not qualify as a mitzius dover, as a presence. She yenefel leima shehu al dei tzimtzum chas v'sholem, to which it can be applied that this mitzius came as a result of a tzimtzum. In other words, from both perspectives, it's at the Atzmus itself, the Inyan HaTzimtzum is not applicable. And the oil, the gilui that comes is also not a Metzius Dover, that you could say that this came through a Tzimtzum. Very briefly, he's not discussing he doesn't discuss Inyan HaTzimtzum here, but the very brief from the Inyan HaTzimtzum is as it says we always learn in Eitz Chaim, that there's a tzimtzum, v'naseh cholol u'mokim ponu, and then there was a vacancy. And in this vacancy came an oir. In other words, this oir is like a yesh relative to the mokim poner. So this is what he says, that this oir, this gilui that comes from Atzmus, is not a gilui of a dover that he said that it comes to a tzimtzum, which means that it is like a yesh coming into an ayin. What then can be explained in terms of this oil coming from Atzmus? Ki'im only mashe hagilui hu berotze. The fact that the gilui is berotze, this already, in a sense, separates it from the Atzmus. The hainu rak mashe mipnei sheritzene is bar v'chinas gilui. It is only due to the fact that Ritzeinet is that there should be the inyan from Gilui Oyer. So therefore this Gilui Oyer does not represent Atzmus, but represents his Rotzen. And therefore Ein HaGilui b'chinas Gilui mino Etzem. Therefore the Gilui does not qualify as Gilui min ho Etzem, because since it comes to a Rotzen, there is a step. It does not come directly from the Atzmus. There's a rotzin that creates the gilui. Thus, it is not representative of Atzmus, of the Atzmus. And here we have this very difficult thing to distinguish. It says in parentheses, Rotzel Leimer. What I mean to say is this. The benefesh, that in nefesh hagili gamkin berotzein, in nefesh the gili is also berotzein. This is clear that the chayes from nefesh does not come automatically like light from the sun. But this is something which is berotzein, which represents the nefesh itself. The nefesh gives chayes because it wants to give chayes, because that is its inyan to give chayes. Therefore, the nefesh, the gilui, is also berotzein. And we just finished saying that if the gilui is berotzein, therefore there is a gap, and it is no longer gilui berotzein. But nevertheless, in the nefesh, it's different. The komakim in the nefesh. Still, when this gilui comes forth, Arei hu gili min ha'etzem. There, the gili is a gili from the etzem. It is representing the etzem. Why? How is it possible to say in the nefesh? Lifnei sheho etzem hu shehu chai be'etzem. Because the etzem is consists in the fact that he is chai be'etzem. Its atzmius consists in chayus. Therefore, when chayus comes, it is a gili from the etzem. The principle in Gilui min ha'etzem means, as we said before, principle in Gilui min ha'etzem is the pshat that this inyan existed in the etzem before it came, before the Gilui came, because this is part and parcel of the etzem. Kana ma she'en kin lamayla. Whereas the way it is lamayla, there it is not Gilui min ha'etzem. Because there is not the element of the gili that comes to the gili that is present in the etzem. In the nefesh, the element that comes to the gili, which is chayus, is present in the etzem. Chay be'etzem. But l'mayla, that is different. There is not that element in the etzem that ultimately is God. Then he further explains the whole gili, because any gili shehu b'rotzoi. Because any gilui that is berotzen, that is volitional, harehu, so that gilui is in that state, in that level, k'moi shekod my haheder. You will like kod my haheder, that the absence preceded it. Normally we say gilui oir coming from the etzem. So this oir existed before the gilui, in the etzem itself, and then when it comes begili, it only comes begili. Gili min ha'elam, but not heder. Heder means non-existence. But if it comes berotzoin, harei hu ukmo shekodmei ha'heder. That's similar to ukmo shekodmei ha'heder, as if it wasn't there before, because there was not a direct element of gili that comes from the etzem. It comes berotzoin. And therefore this is something novel, completely a new creation. Move on oid beyoisir, and this becomes even more understandable. If Amur kan in gili berotz. So the point that is said here was, as we said, that the emes, this Ayin, that there is oir min ha'atzmus, this is a Ayin that is created by the Rotz. And now we'll go back and learn the parentheses that we skipped initially.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, it could.
This day is talking about in the nefesh, where the gilui exists even before gilui exists in the etzem.
Right.
I'm just trying to understand, because when we talked about, I'm assuming it's on the same category as the sun, or as the Yesod.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. That's what we're going to learn now. So we're actually 3 lines from the beginning, from the top of this paragraph. So far in this paragraph, by these 3 lines, we said that the Metzius Ha'oyer from Atzmus is Alidei Haratzon. It's only because that's what he wants. V'yesh Leimar. V'yesh Leimar. This can be related to that which is said elsewhere. Shezeh Inyan, that this is the principle of Masha b'yicholte lehoyer or b'yicholte shaloy lehoyer. Said the principle of Maila is b'yicholte lehoyer. It is within his acheres capacity lehoyer, to bring forth light, u'b'yicholte shaloy lehoyer, and is also not to give light. Mipnei, because she'ein b'chinas moyer ba'etzem. Because it is not in essence a moir, a luminary. A luminary has oil and it has no choice but the oil comes automatically. B'hinei, Hashemesh muchrach behagil k'nei. The sun is compelled to have gil. The sun is compelled to have gil. Kinoida, as is known, Bahainu, and that is Mipnei Shehu Moir Be'etzem. Because that the sun is a Moir Be'etzem, is in essence a luminary. The canal, and as we said before, the Etzem Mitziyuso Yehu Oir. That its essential presence, Metzius, is oil. See, we have to understand the significance of these words. That it's a moir, it's a luminary in essence, because its Metzius is oil. What is the definition of oil? Oil is not something to be kept internally. What is the meaning of oil? Oil is that which illuminates. Oil that does not illuminate is not an oil. It's lacking its fulfillment. So therefore, the sun, it's an etzem behiri. What is being said about the sun, it's not mentioned here. The sun is an etzem behiri. So what is the benefit, what is the meaning of Sana Etzem Behiri? And the end it says, it's Muchra Behagil. Kind of diminishing its Atzmius. If it's an Etzem Behiri, why does it need to be Megil? So the explanation is like this. The Inyan that the sun is an Etzem Behiri is in the fact that the sun does not gain anything by giving light or not giving light. Or by giving light does not mean by illuminating. It says that if the light is concealed, is interfered by clouds and it doesn't reach its destination, the sun does not suffer from that. In that respect, it's an etzem behiri. It comes automatic. It's not affected by the effect of by its accomplishment. On the other hand, it is muchrach beho'er. It is compelled to give oir, even though it's an etzem behiri. The reason that it's compelled to be oir is not because it is a compromised etzem. It's a real etzem. But what does etzem behiri mean? What does behirius mean? Behirius means that it illuminates. That is the definition of behirius. Etzem behiri means it in essence gives light, illuminates. Therefore, the need that it illuminates is not due to its shortcoming in terms of an etzem. It is due to its defined quality. It is be'etzem oir. Do we get this point?
Yeah. Quick set. Just one.
I'm just trying to reconcile with how we described originally, how we described the Etzem Behiri, or we described the Yesod Ha'esh, was that it did not consist of Or.
No, Yesod Ha'esh is something else. Right. It did not, in the Indian that doesn't consist in oil, in the shad, that the sun is not diminished by giving oil, nor is it complemented.
The Etzem element is higher. In other words, it sounds like there's two elements. There's the Etzem element, which is Etzem Behiri, which is really does not consist of Or. It's something much higher than Or. It's something. And then there also is the Or, the fact that there's the Behiri means that it spreads forth light, and there must be light also in the sun.
We said a long time ago that the sun illuminates is due to the fact that it's Etzem Behiri. And Etzem Behiri eliminates darkness by just its presence, not by intent, by purpose. Darkness and light do not combine properly, do not coexist.
Okay, and I think what I remember us saying is that the whole idea of Or is to illuminate the place where there's darkness. And since the Etzem of the sun, there is no darkness, the whole concept of Or is not shaykh. It's an Etzem, it's not shaykh. But yet now we're saying that the Etzem...
Right. Oil per se, that illuminates darkness. But the Etzem Behiri that cannot tolerate darkness. What does it mean if you illuminate darkness? What we're saying? Illuminate darkness means that it leaves the darkness intact and it illuminates it, like a functional level.
Mm-hmm.
But elimination of darkness is a different thing.
That's the Etzem of light.
It's the Etzem of light. And this in that it has this in that it's moir, it eliminates darkness, is a mukhrach in the Shemesh. Why is it mukhrach? Not because the Shemesh needs it, but because the definition of oil is that it illuminates. And it illuminates. The hechach, in other words, the hechach of the sun is by the fact that the sun has a definitive presence, a definition. What kind of quality is it? It's an etzem of what?
Because we say by the sun doesn't illuminate. Like day, darkness is eliminated, but sun doesn't illuminate darkness. There's no
that's day.
darkness.
That's what happens. That's what day is.
But sun,
the
there's no
sun.
the sun doesn't. Sun, there's no darkness. Darkness is impossible. It's
That's
not,
within the sun.
Right. So, but now we're saying that the etzem inyoni of the sun is that it will it must eliminate darkness. So it has a shyness to darkness.
Okay, this is what I just was saying. You say etzem in yone means that the sun would be shortcoming, would be missing something, and it gains something by illuminating. It's not true. It doesn't gain anything by it, and if it doesn't, and if the light does not illuminate and it's blocked off, it doesn't suffer from it. But that Be'etzem, not Be'etzem Inyone, but Be'etzem Mitziyusei. That's why before the point, Inyone is different than Mitziyusei. Inyone means this is its function. It doesn't have that as a function. But this is its Mitziyus. Because it has a definitive Mitziyus. This is Pshat es Mukhrach. The Etzem Mitziyusi Hu'oy. This is why it is Mukhrach in the Gil. Because the translation of the word oir is not something that is in hiding. The word oil is that it comes with you. That is his mitzvah. This is the great miracle, anomaly, you could say, that it has a mitzvah and yet it's an atzmi. Atzmi, by definition, has not a mitzvahs. This is an atzmi, and it has a mitzvahs. Okay. Well, this is it for this morning.